Okay, I got it. Tommy Doyle at Smith's Grove with the lead pipe. Welcome to the Dave Cave. I, as always, am Dave, and today we're going to be closing out the Thorn Trilogy with the 6th entry in the Halloween franchise, and that is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Halloween 6 is directed by Joe Chappelle, stars Donald Pleasence in his last role as Dr. Loomis, but also as his last role in all of cinema, and it also introduces the then-credited Paul Stephen Rudd as Tommy Doyle. And the movie picks up 6 years after the events of Halloween 5 in that very open-ended closing, and Michael and Jamie have been missing ever since. Completely gone. Nobody knows where the hell they are. This movie opens on Jamie, but you don't know that it opens on Jamie until you hear some random person call her Jamie. It's been recast from Danielle Harris, and she now has this baby that she's trying to keep from Michael Myers because Michael Myers is trying to kill his whole family. We learned that that's his whole shtick, this whole Curse of Thorn thing that we get hinted in Halloween 5. They really go all in with it in this movie. And the movie essentially is a keep away of this baby from Michael Myers, but not just Michael Myers, the Man in Black, and this whole cult of Thorn. Now, luckily, I've never seen the producer's cut. We're reviewing the theatrical cut for this review, and because of that, I have quite a few things that I like. So let's get into the good. The first thing I like about Halloween 6 is Tommy Doyle and really Paul Rudd's take on the character, because I like Paul Rudd. I think he's one of the more versatile actors that I've ever seen. He can play goofy, he can play serious, he can play a fucking superhero, he can play super creepy like this, he can be Brian Fantana, he can be all over the place. This is his real big role. This introduced him to the world, and he's awesome. He plays this great kind of PTSD, weird kind of, he's meaning good, but he also, you think he might be kind of a creeper, might be kind of a bad guy, but ultimately, he's just trying to figure out a way to stop what happened in 1978 from ever happening again. And what you get out of that is this person that is so obsessed with Michael Myers that any trace of him, any mention of him, he jumps on it. Jumps on it. And that's what leads him to finding this baby. He protects the baby, keeps it safe from Michael, doesn't know shit about kids, but knows this is important. I gotta stop Michael from getting this kid. And then ultimately it culminates in one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise where he beats the shit out of Michael Myers with a pipe. I'm not a fan of the green slime thing. I never really got that. That really should have been blood. It would have been a much cooler scene, but holy shit. That scene when he lets off on him, he's like, okay, no, he's down. He's down. And then he just goes and goes and goes and goes. I love that shit. And I do. I love that scene so much. And on top of that, because he's such an obsessed character, he's a perfect vehicle in terms of the story to provide all this backstory, to give us what this whole cult of Thorn's going to be, what's going on with Michael, that he knows who Jamie is, and that he's just been following all this. It's not some weird like, oh, okay, that doesn't really make sense. Why is this person telling? No, Tommy Doyle is obsessed. He knows everything. And it fits. And the next thing I like about The Curse of Michael Myers is the music. And as I've said before, I like the Halloween music. But in this one, it feels very, that's Halloween 6's Michael Myers music. That's Halloween 6's The Shape Stalks. That's Halloween 6's main theme. Absolutely. And as an overtone to the whole soundtrack, you have this electric guitar kind of meow to everything that happens. Every part of this soundtrack feels like mid to late 90s, and I eat it up. I don't think, unlike other entries in the Halloween series, I don't think that you could put the music from Halloween 6 in any other entry. Maybe in some of the later ones. Maybe not even really H2O. Maybe Resurrection, but it fits perfectly in with 6. Wouldn't fit in 5. They do a little bit in 4. Definitely not 1 and 2. It's 100% Halloween 6. And the last thing I want to talk about that I like in Halloween 6, it's a complete inverse of Halloween 5. I love Michael in this movie. It's a bring back to this dark, angry, strong, brutal Michael Myers. This is a Michael that you can be absolutely afraid of. And why I like so much about that is it's also like a redemption for George P. Wilbur. Everything I said about him in Halloween 4, it really wasn't him. But everything about Halloween 4's Michael that he did in that, he made it better. He fixed it. This is the Mike. If you put this Michael into Halloween 4, holy shit, that movie is a completely different movie. This Michael is awesome. And I know a lot of people might not like the mask. I love the mask in this one. I think it's great. Completely emotionless, but it has contours. You have the way it's shot and the way it can be shot and the contours of the mask. It allows for a lot of emotion with no emotion. And that's what the Michael Myers mask is supposed to have. It's not supposed to be just a blank slate, just absolutely blank. It's supposed to be a blank slate that you can project onto it. And you can't project onto it without really any contours, any shadows. And this mask does that really well. And one of the best things about the Michael Myers in this movie is that, yes, they have the whole Cult of Thorn going on. You have the whole Wynn plot twist, which we're going to talk about that. And you have all these people that are trying to help Michael Myers do what he wants to do. And you get this kind of, okay, well, Michael Myers might be kind of working with these people. And then you have the operating scene, which, again, we're going to talk about a little bit more when we get to the kills. But that scene is awesome. It's a, nope, no one's on Michael's side. Michael's on nobody's side. Michael's on Michael's side. If you're not him, you're against him. You're in his way. He will kill the shit out of you. He doesn't care. Nobody is stopping this Michael. If not for those three things, Michael, the music, Tommy Doyle, I don't think I'd really like this movie. And we're going to get into that why right now with the bad. The first thing I don't like about Halloween 6 is the whole Danny Thorn aspect of it. I understand that they want to have this whole overtone that Thorn is everywhere and they're in everything and it's kind of just fucky over the whole town. I get that. But you have Danny where we have no precedent to understand that there's this whole thing, there's this whole ritual that made Michael Myers the way he was. We have no reason to believe that Danny had that in any way, shape, or form. If they had taken this movie, had the whole intro, and then did like an 8-year time jump. Jamie is dead. Boom, she is killed, completely dead. And then you have Steven get adopted into the Strode family. Unknowingly, gets adopted into the Strode family. Kara adopts him. She has the kid. Then you're like, oh shit, he has the voices. You realize that the whole beginning thing, it was this ritual to turn this kid into the next Michael Myers. Then you have more reason why Michael Myers does the things he does. It gives you a little bit more idea of what made him kill his sister that night. You could take Danny completely out of the whole movie and just have this kid be what Michael Myers is after the whole movie. That would have worked just as much as having this whole baby angle. Do the time jump and have Tommy and Loomis and Kara all trying to protect Danny Steven, whatever you want to call him. It would have worked. It would have worked a lot better. It wouldn't have seemed as forced. It makes for cool moments. It absolutely makes for cool moments. Having Danny pull the knife on his grandpa, having Danny walk towards the house where Beth and Tim just got killed. Cool moments. Absolutely cool moments. He's sitting on Miss Blankenship's lap. Cool moments. But they're forced. We have no reason to believe why he would be like Michael Myers when this movie goes into the idea that, yeah, it's because of this whole ritual. The next thing that really bugs me in The Curse of Michael Myers is the Wynn plot twist. You go into this movie and, okay, Wynn is just this guy. He's a colleague of Loomis's. Cool. He's a familiar face, a familiar actor. We know who the guy is. Maybe he'll be some kind of important, some kind of helpful. We have no reason to believe that he's in any way malicious, that he's just there. He's one of Loomis's dudes. Fine. Perfectly fine. But because we're not given any kind of context that he was the guy that Loomis was talking to, is like, get back in there and tell them who left out of here and where he's going. Well, Sam, he doesn't know how to drive a car. He was doing very well last night. That guy. That's the guy. That is the whole Cult of Thorn in this one. That's supposed to be the same guy. That whole holy shit moment where he's there and he's the man in black, which is like, okay, he's the man in black. Who is this fucking guy? Like, we've heard the name Win, 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 but if we had gotten some kind of moment where they're having their enjoyment of retirement drink, and he's like, yeah, this is a crazy time. We've come a long way since Michael Myers broke out, and, you tried to tell me that he couldn't drive a car. Well, you really screwed the pooch on that one, huh? Oh, ha, 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 yeah. Like, that should have been such a oh shit moment, because then you also realize that Wynn, more than likely, let Michael out. The same guy that was arguing with Loomis the night after he broke out, he let him out. Wynn let out Michael. That whole moment should have been so much holy shit, but we have no reason to be holy shit. It should have meant so much more, and it didn't. It was such a missed opportunity. Oh, in terms of the casting of Dr. Wynn, yeah, that guy, whoever that was going to be, should have been the age of Donald Pleasence. They were the same age back in 78. And the last thing that bugs me about Halloween 6 is there are oftentimes overacting in such a goofy, like nobody talks that way kind of moments. Mostly happens with Tim, Beth, and Kara. Not always together, and they're not always all shit, but there are moments where you're like, oh, yeah, that was like made for TV movie acting where it sticks out because you have all these other like decent to good performances by Paul Rudd, Donald Pleasence. The rest of the movie is alright, but you have these moments that just stick out like a sore thumb, and every time I come across them, it's like, oh yeah, there's that in this fucking movie. Okay, now we're going to get into a bit more of why I like Michael Myers so much in Halloween 6 with the blood, the guts, the raining red, the ugly. Like I said, this is a Michael Myers that is way more brutal than we got in Halloween 5 and Halloween 4. It's a bring back of, yeah, no, this is a Michael Myers you don't want to get in the way of. In the first, 10 minutes, he kills 3 people, and not like, oh, stab, or, throat slit. No, he picks up a nurse, slams her hat into a spike. Some random asshole gets his shit split, and then he kills Jamie Lloyd. I love the fact that this Michael kills everybody. Nobody gets in his way. As I said before, you have the whole operating room scene, which I think it's shot great. That scene didn't need to be graphic. You have it. He's got this big-ass machete knife thing that he goes in with, and he just kills all of them. They don't really go into why they're doing this operating, because Steven is out of the room, so if he was prepped for surgery, he'd be in there. They don't really say what's going on in there at all, but it makes for a very cool kill scene. I enjoy that kill a lot because it's ominous. You watch him walking and you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Is he going to go after Tommy and Kara? No, Michael Myers is just walking through this hospital and he's like, yeah, all these people are fucking dead. And he goes in and he massacres them. Through the whole movie, you have a whole good mix of kills. You have stabbings. You do have some throat slitting, which it's a Michael staple. But also you have some crazy over-the-top kills like the John Strode kill. He gets stabbed, lifted, and thrown into a power box, and his fucking head explodes. It's a very fulfilling kill. Absolutely. John Strode is a prick. But, holy shit, that is a next level kill that it takes the Bucky kill from 4 and just turns that shit up to 11. But they're not my favorite. My award for favorite kill of Halloween 6 goes to Jamie Lloyd. You have this cat and mouse through the whole intro where Michael is trying to get Jamie. It's a continuation. It's 2 movies in building where he's been trying to kill her. He finally gets her, grabs her, throws her onto this farm equipment. You have this awesome moment where she reaches up. And I always took this as a middle finger to the end of Halloween 5 where she says, "Uncle, and let me see," and he has the whole tear, and she gets him to stop. She reaches up for him. And you think, okay, what's Michael going to do? He puts his hands up like he's going to get her, playing on the whole Halloween 5 weak Michael, fucking slams her down, turns it on, and guts the shit out of her. Brutal kill. Awesome kill. Great kill, and it completely spits in the face of everything that was shit in Halloween 5. Danielle, yeah, you were right to not come back for this one. And now it is time for my final thoughts on the closing of the Thorn Trilogy, that is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. This is one of the Halloween movies that I saw first. I saw probably 1 and 2, and I saw 6. 6 I remember coming out. I think it was the first one I really remember. Okay, there's a new Halloween movie coming out. Holy shit. And it terrified me because that Michael, as I said, he's a terrifying looking Michael. He looks great in this movie, and they utilize him even when he's out in the daylight. He looks terrifying. It's awesome. I love it so much. And like I said, I've only seen the theatrical version. So for anybody who's seen the producer's cut, the producer's version, hit the comments below and let me know, is it worth watching? Because what I've seen and what I've heard about it, the story gets really fucky, but at the same time, they do some things better in that one than they do in the theatrical version. So let me know. If enough people recommend it, I'll probably have to check it out. Actually, there is one thing I know about the producer's cut, and that's that they changed the end of the movie and really what happens between Loomis and Michael, and that it doesn't actually really happen between Loomis and Michael. I personally prefer the way the theatrical cut ends, because you have this whole moment where Loomis is like, all right, you guys can go. I got to handle my business. And you get this idea that he is going. He's going to give himself to Michael. And they recut it, and obviously this came out after Donald Pleasence's death, and this movie is dedicated to him. But I like that they had Michael kill him. It's a little bit grim. It definitely is, because Donald Pleasence did straight up die, like I said. But what this does is it puts a bookend on the chapter of Donald Pleasence playing Dr. Loomis. And what it stops any future movies doing, except for the Rob Zombie remakes, but those are remakes, what it stops them doing is possibly recasting Loomis in terms of the Thorn storyline. They are probably going to recast him a little bit for the future Halloween movies, but they stop any chance of these movies bringing back Loomis, and they let Donald Pleasence be. They let the character be, and they give it to him so that he has it forever. And yes, I'm getting a little sentimental, but you know what? That man gave us Dr. Loomis, and Dr. Loomis is one of the best fucking characters I've ever seen in cinema. But one thing Donald Pleasence's death didn't do was stop the Halloween train. What the Halloween train kept doing was moving on and brought back Jamie Lee Curtis. And my review for that one, Halloween H2O, will be out on Thursday, so be on the lookout for it. And while you're waiting, if you haven't already, I've done the rest of the Halloween series up to this point. Also done all the Friday the 13th and all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'll have links to those in the description below. And also, because this is the last time we've seen Jamie Lloyd, I'll have a link in the description for a video I made talking about how I would bring back Jamie Lloyd and Danielle Harris for future Halloween movies. That one's a lot of fun. Go check that out. And that is going to do it for me today. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by the Dave Cave. I will see you on Thursday for Halloween H2O. But until then, take care.